Welcome, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with Install Guide Part 2, the Advanced Installation. But first, if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel for all kinds of great Hearts of Iron videos for 3 and 4, install guides and other things, as well as covering other games like War in the East, Strategic Command that you may also like. So please do subscribe to the channel. Really would appreciate that. Okay. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch it first, because that is where everything starts. Get to install Black Ice, Third Reich events, units of the Third Reich, and German graphical and gameplay augmentation, as it has now been expanded to. This is going to go beyond that, but to sort of go back to old ground a little bit. This here up, you can see here, Black Ice 911 Christmas Gift, as came out just before, is what you need to install now instead of the old 9.0. Highly recommend the full install. Don't try to patch over from unless you know it suggests I always clean install, so just download this and install this like you did under the same directions as the previous version on the video. Nothing really else has changed there, so just to update, this is the current location now. Okay, what we're going to do is we've, like I said, installed the traditional 3 expansion mods. Now, the deworm, another old friend here, has a bunch of great mods, as you can see. Now, some of them are should be way dead and you never install them, like the German leaders. All that's already been incorporated in Black Ice as standard, so most all of this stuff down here just ignore. It's old, it's dead, you don't want it. What you want is there's 2 versions. If you want the earlier for 8.61, or for the version we're using today for Black Ice 911. Count Blue sort of put it all together, taking the version that I made for my last German playthrough. He took what I made, tweaked it around a bit more, added a few other things, so it is the best version. So you want to get that version, and we have that version right here in my downloads folder that I set up. Okay, so, and here it is. So what you want to do is you want to extract it. So go extract files, just hit yes with whatever. I'm using RAR, but you can use WinZip, and yeah, we've had a truck driving by just while we're doing this. Now, the reason I'm moving this here is because this is the file that Count Blue made, and it has it after GGA as in dependencies, the dependencies that it needs. But then we have here, this is a redone, basically actually going back and following the previous video, made a fresh install. The current version of GGA includes this version, these MOD files, which are just mod files or text files. Wants to put it here, and so we don't have a confusion here, GGA wants it before here. So since Revolver Held's been updating things a little bit more, I'm going with his currently. I'll read the notes below. I'll pin something if it turns out I'm wrong and you need to use the deworms version. So This is all of the deworms mods that are current and you should use. So you just simply take from wherever you extracted it, and, well, let's see, I'm going to just copy it. Copy it here. So it will copy the fold over, shouldn't overwrite anything. That's why I'm having you do this, because if you followed the previous instructions in install order and then have this overwrite, it would be a bad thing, I believe. So there you go. So that gets in the deworms mod. Now, also, just another note. This I'm just taking from various feedbacks that I'm watching. If the game doesn't work as just basic Black Ice, or if the game doesn't work with Third Reich events or GGA or something else, adding more mods won't fix anything. It will only make things worse. So make test. I've already tested out this sort of fresh install first with Black Ice, and then with I just did the first 3, and it played fine. So test that out first before going to add any more mods. Okay, so now we're going to, if you haven't got enough mods, if the game isn't tweaked enough for you, with now 4 major mods, because we've combined the deworms into 1 now, you can come here. Again, this is the TRE thread, and then down here into Gamers Other Mods. It includes Tanganyika. If you're not familiar, it deals with the Germany's relationship with Africa, basing it out of World War I, like this photos from World War I or before, bringing it through to the Nazi era. This is Colony and Home magazine from the Nazi era, dealing with various parts of the world, including former colonies. This picture here is again from World War I and before. But this is a picture of von Lettow Vorbeck in his Tanganyika style uniform that he continued to wear. That's a tan uniform, as a serving general in the German army during World War II. He was not trusted by the Nazis because he was rather an anti-Nazi. Said rather bad things about Hitler. So he wasn't trusted. So he was just given some office in Berlin and basically sat the war out. But he did periodically, I forget who this other general he was meeting with at some point. He did travel around and meet some of the other generals and observe things, but he had no real command. This mod is presuming taking the very real German Nazi pro-colonial Bund, mixing it with support for the veterans of Africa, which they did do some of that in Germany. And then what if they did that, and then what if, once they got down into sub-Saharan Africa, put Vorbeck back in charge, because he's not that old. I mean, he's as old as these other German generals, so it's not like, oh, he's too old or anything like that to command. If von Rundstedt and the others are commanding, he certainly can at that age, because he was reasonably healthy. So if you want to add in more immersion and elements into Africa, so far it only covers, and probably will remain in the Hearts of Iron 3 version, Tanganyika. It has a little bit of Southwest Africa now, not much. Okay, so if you want to add that mod, download it here. It's now been updated for the 9.11 version. Foreign aid and air bases for Black Ice. What this does is, for Germany or Italy or certain other allied players, US or Britain, and you get puppets or just allies in, shall we say, less developed parts of the world, and you because you can't build an allied or puppet territory, you can't add air bases was my original um, impetus for making this mod. And so this way, say if Afghanistan becomes in the Axis, Germany has the ability to put an air base in Kabul. Not a big one, but an air base, and often anti-aircraft guns. The level 1 anti-aircraft gun for that province, so it has some anti-aircraft support. So foreign aid and air bases to your allies. There's also events for the Allied players as well as the Axis players. So if you want that, and all of the events, that allow you to, they all use this one picture. You can always decline putting an airbase if you don't want to. None of it's forced. So that's a good mod to add that adds no difficulty if you don't want to use any particular one. Hello. It's based off the show of that named the TV show in Britain. It is not a historical mod. It is a fun mod. If you want to add a bit of comedy, I've updated it again for Black Ice, and I fixed the 2 major bugs in it that until playing it last time, I didn't know that were still there. So this should be working very good, and we'll be testing it out. So if you want to add this, what this does do a bit though, is add some difficulty for occupation of France. So if nothing major, it gives you a few very, very weak and minor units. Units may be okay for fighting partisans, but that's about it. And there will be some, depending on conditions. Basically, Britain has to be, an Allied control to have several partisan outbreaks. If you want a little more difficulty in France, you can do this. And finally, if you want more immersion, up here, also Tanganyika, as well as some other regions around Africa, I've added a bunch of provincial pictures for better immersion there. Now, so if you want more immersion, California province pictures for Black Ice. Basically, though, this will work, I think, for any Black Ice or any Hearts of Iron 3 game. So not every province in California. Some of the major ones already had provincial pictures. This just adds some more. So some more immersion here, again, now updated. So you can download these here. So we're going to come over here. And here. And so now what you want to do is you want to come to this folder. As it says here, download and extract in their finest hour folder. So, yes, again. So we will start with Tanganyika. Copy that over here. And we will extract here. Say yes. And yes to all these. I think the pictures were added there. So those are just the provincial pictures. So now you should, and what this is doing is installing it into your Black Ice folder. And then we will come over here and grab the hello file, copy it in here, and extract here. And then we will come to foreign aid and air bases. The install order should not matter with any of these. Copy here. And extract here. There. Some of these are particularly small. And you could just extract here, I guess, theoretically, but I'm copying into the folder here and extract here. So again, we should come here You should not see any new folders. It should just be these 5, and these will have so it should be under F here, foreign aid. Just verify again, gamers foreign aid mod. Just puts it in. These are very simplistic mods that are designed to be as compatible as possible. And one of my and the reason I needed to update all of these except for the hello bug is because Black Ice team has been changing this directory name, folder name, whatever you want to call it, with the new versions. And I've asked them not to. I hope they won't, because it will save me time and save you time. That was the only major change for most of these. Because they're made for maximum compatibility with the game, with all other mods, is how I designed these to be. So this should get you to an advanced level of installation. I asked, no one pointed to any other mods to be installed. There is a Vowertz Panzer mod, but I recommend staying away from it, very, very far away from it at this time, because I don't know if the mod maker is going to continue supporting it, but it is not balanced well, and there's other problems with it, to my understanding. So it's currently a don't play unless you really want a broken game. So if anybody has any other mods they want to have installed, please post below, and I will consider that for any future install guides. If you have any other questions, please post them below, and I will answer them if I can, or if somebody else can. I hope they will. Thanks so much. If you would, again, please, whether you agree or like here or here, I would appreciate that. Shows support for TRE, and I thank all you who already have. And of course, you can watch this German playthrough or others on my channel. That's all I can think of for the moment. Good gaming.